guess what just happened to me?
What?
Oh, gee.
So I'm at my warehouse.
Okay.
Unloading my van. Well, the storage facility, not the warehouse. And this man is walking along the sidewalk, like I would say 50 feet away from me, and he starts yelling. So I don't pay any mind because I'm in DC. And then he starts walking towards me. And he's like, take my number. Okay, he's gonna stop. Like, he's gonna stop. But he keeps on walking towards me, like, take my number. So I say, no, thank you. And he keeps on walking. And then he lifts his shirt and pants down and flashes me. So then I say, okay. And he rattles off his number. And then he flashes me again and walks away.
Well.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. Welcome to the Swell Spree, everybody. Happy New Year. Hey, y'all. We all in the building.
Happy New Year. In the building. We made it.
Hey, Merry New Year.
Yeah.
I can smell and taste and everything. We made it.
How is everybody's holiday and New Year and all of that?
We made it.
Yeah, I guess that's the best way to sum it up. It was good. It was good. Low key. I would have rather been on some exotic island for New Year. But nope, was right here. Didn't do anything spectacular.
Yeah, I didn't do anything. Everybody was sick.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
My plan A, B, and C sick. I was like, dang. I just knew I had it, tight. I'm like, no, I got the backup and the backup. They were like, nah, sis. We're down for the count.
Okay.
Everybody's fine. I mean, I even sick felt anything. They were just like, no, but I can't leave the house. I'm like, oh, that's stupid. I'm like, well, you want to come over? No. What? You sound crazy.
Yeah, I'm happy to see everybody's healthy right now.
Yep. Just finished working out. I was getting ready to get back on the Peloton. I was like, oh, nope, that's going to last 30 minutes and this is going to start. So let me just pause and go back after I finish.
Keep that motivation up.
Got to.
Glennis, I downloaded the app.
You downloaded the app? Cool. So what, you're doing the other workouts?
Yeah. So I love the meditation. I do the meditation.
The meditation is good.
And and then they have a cardio, which I can do on my treadmill.
Go get there's a couple of great treadmill instructors that I hear are really good. Yeah. Well, cool. Yay. I'm happy. Yay. I gotta follow. I don't know if I wonder if what's your you gotta send me your handle. I wonder if I could follow you as well, even though you don't have a bike. So I could see your progress and you can see mine and all that.
Okay, I will do that. I joined, did I tell you guys I joined a senior gym?
What does that mean, a senior gym?
And why did you join a senior gym?
I think we know what that means. So she could be better than everybody.
Word is senior.
So it really isn't a senior gym, but everybody who's there appears to be a senior citizen. And it's one of our neighborhood community fitness areas or what have you. So it's hardly anybody's there, which is great, right?
And
so
it's probably always really clean.
Always spotless.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I'm going to find my next husband.
But is he going to be somebody that got worms?
If he got money, it don't matter.
Yes, it does.
Right.
Yeah, with this whole thing about money. If he got worms, some old man, you got to take care of. Nobody want none old but money.
You can pay somebody to handle that.
You talk about long money. I don't want to take care of another old man. I'll tell you, took care of my father, God rest his soul. I want, can I find some young man with old, long money? That's what, young man with old, long money. There you go. I don't want none. Shit, I'm old enough. Cracking.
That's a tough combination, Glennis. That's
tough.
Tough.
That's that inherited money.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. That's that generational wealth money right there.
Does it did you say black? Does he have to be black?
Long as he got to have swag, got to have white, straight. His teeth got to be on point. You know that teeth thing is a killer. Give a shit.
No British teeth.
You can't Bill Gates money. I ain't messing with no bad teeth. Because that means your hygiene is not up to par, and then I can never kiss you. You be
if
leaning
you got
in,
money,
I be leaning
like
back.
if you got money, you have gotten your teeth fixed. Like otherwise, it's something wrong in your head. Like
and that's
you
a problem.
have mental deficit.
Not necessarily. Like if you look at some of the royal,
they teeth jacked up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they got long money. Just because
I don't think
money,
they know better. I don't. They might not think it's a problem. They don't.
My point. That's my point. I don't care how much money you got. Your grill ain't straight. Glennis is not messing with you. Hey,
tell them about it.
Thank you, bro.
If you ain't got your grill right, we
like,
ain't doing
what
it.
What is happening?
You lean in, I lean back. You lean in, I lean back. As you can see, we were cutting up as we do.
Listen, I know how y'all do. I know how y'all do already. I know y'all be cutting up.
So wait, before we get into Jermaine, did everybody watch The Kings of Napa last night?
No, I missed it.
I haven't watched it yet. I haven't.
Okay.
I need to get into it.
Okay.
But
what's that?
Kings of Napa. So it's on OWN, the network OWN that
What's
Oprah
that?
owns. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. No, I know what OWN is, but I don't know what this show is. Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So the Kings of Napa, it's like just think of it like a modern day like soap opera, but it's revolved around wine and family. So you've got this elder. So this man, he used to be a surgeon, and I guess he has like extra income. So he decides to buy a winery and make wine. And it's a legacy. And so I don't want to give it away, but
I mean, it sounds interesting. I'm in.
So you're trying to.
So it's like Greenleaf, but in a vineyard.
Yes, exactly. Okay. It's exactly like Greenleaf. And of course, this is an older man. And so the kids, it's 3 of them, are trying to figure out who is going to be the next.
Oh my God, this is totally Greenleaf. Okay.
It's very Empire. It's Greenleaf. It's even like some splashes of like just the family dynamic of like Game of Thrones too. So it's, and
it sounds kind of Brown-esque as well.
Right.
Because that's how they started. I don't know the other part.
It's probably inspired.
Yes,
probably inspired from that for sure.
Of course, there are some challenges and drama and secrets and lies and all the things. So, and you get a good whiff of that on episode 1. But I'm waiting for everybody to watch so I can talk about it.
Is it only on OWN? Is it on any other streaming network?
I'm not sure. I can't wait for y'all to watch so we can talk about it on here. I wanted to bring up something else that Tanisha sent to me via Twitter.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
yes.
What did I see? Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about
it. Wine glasses rimmed in salt. Y'all heard me right. There is a trend.
For what?
What?
For wine?
Well, yeah,
For
that's
wine.
A very good question. Why? But yeah, so I believe this lady is a somm. Yeah, she's a somm out of San Francisco. And she has decided to rim her wine glasses in wine. In salt. And just test out what types of salt pairs well with wine, with certain wines. So she's got different flavor combinations, like truffle salt, popcorn salt, spicy salt, candy bacon, fennel, sugar, and salt. So you just got all these combinations of salts rimmed around the wine glass and drinking certain wines with it.
She's doing too much. She's doing too much.
Just too.
Like, is she selling these salts?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's just an experiment.
So is she gonna be the wine margarita of the world? I'm not So why don't you just have the food taste the wine? You don't need
the salt is cheaper.
And
instead of making a whole dish, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna play devil's advocate for a second with that part. I guess.
But then you're gonna have issues because you're gonna have to have blood pressure medication. As much wine as we drink, all that.
Yeah,
you can't do it every time. Like, you
right.
That's like a one and done thing. I think you try one glass and then that's it. You can't be like, oh, let me do a flight of these salty rims.
Oh yeah, that doesn't even sound fun.
Right.
It's too much. Yeah.
I just feel like wine is about the nuances, like salt is just salt, straight to the highway, and it just takes away the subtleties of wine,
Yeah,
I agree.
I also think that I don't understand why they keep needing to do these gimmicks when it comes to wine.
Exactly.
Like salted ram, blue wine. I mean, injecting it with CO2. Why these gimmicks? Wine is fine. Leave it alone.
Think about it though, Tanisha. You and I have this conversation all the time. You have said that, like, even in the food world and in the cocktail world, things are creative and they're sexy and colorful and all the things. And you can get really creative with those two industries. With wine, you can change up your glass, but it's always going to be just wine. So I think they try to find creative ways to get people to experience something different. I don't really know. Typically they don't work or they come and go, but it may be a reason.
I think people just want to get noticed. People just
and we're talking about it.
Right.
Yeah, it's working. Oh no,
they got us.
Oh no,
that's all Sarita's fault.
They got us.
Oh no, it's all my fault because I said it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you sent it to Sarita.
I did.
Not on the podcast.
And her words were, "We got to talk about this." So I was like, "Well, here we are."
Yes, they were.
Yeah, here we are.
And then it takes away from, you're not focused on their credibility. You're focused on their antics.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Anybody who is credible, why would they be doing something like that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I say with all of this? I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead.
Yes. Like with all of this, I feel like think about I always say do it for the intention, not the attention. So at the end of the day, like what is the intention behind it? Are you maybe trying to bring new people into the category, or like what is the actual intention? Like, me just as a wine lover, I think that it kind of destroys it. It's just it's not wine anymore if that's what you're doing. It's not the flavor that the winemaker intended you to have. It's not that's not the experience. It's not the intention when it was made. So it's just, now you really got to think like, okay, fine, if this is a gimmick, what are you trying to what's the outcome you're looking for here?
Raw lips. That's what's gonna happen. Lips gonna be raw. Yeah, and it's the wine. Oh, that's a mess.
Trying to speed up the gout. Let's speed the gout up.
Speed it.
Like I know wine and rich food already is not great for gout, but let me see how I can speed this process up.
Yeah, let's accelerate a little bit. But I like that.
No, Jermaine, that's a good point of the intention versus attention. And is it bringing new people to wine? Because I don't think it is, because the flavor or what you're giving them is salt.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's not a representation of like what we do here.
Yeah.
Right. And even if you're thinking of it from a pairing standpoint, like maybe, this will help people understand how wine pairs with different flavors. Salt is the flavor. So you're adding different things to salt, but salt is the dominant flavor.
That's why I was like, they doing too much. Like you putting flavors on the salt and then you adding it into wine. It's like, whoa, a lot of stuff happening here. Let's pick a lane and go down it.
Yeah, like with the popcorn salt, just pair it with popcorn. Just have like a little cup of popcorn. Just do that.
Yeah.
Instead of the salt part.
And add those salts onto the popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think it is more trying to make it look a certain way, because cocktails, when they have like the garnishes on the side and they do like, you know, the different salts and different, you know, sugars and all that stuff they do on the side of the glass. Maybe that's supposed to look sexy with that on a wine glass, but then also enhance the flavor. But people who drink wine don't care about that. And people who don't drink wine, I don't think they're into that. And that's not gonna make them go, ooh, I want to get that wine. Like,
no.
No.
Because if you literally handed me a glass with a wine glass with a salted rim, I'm gonna be like, yo, what's going on with this glass?
Like, hold
I
on,
would think it was dirty. I'm like, you put this in
Yeah.
a dirty glass. Like, I'm handing it back.
I don't
I'm
even
gonna
like
wash
designs on my wine glasses or stickers and tags and all that other type of shit that people put on their wine glasses. So no, I don't want it salted.
No. So I think it's unanimous. And I love that we have Wolf of Wineisms. One, I done wrote them down. Do it for the intention, not the
girl, that's going to be on the t-shirt tomorrow.
And
are you kidding me?
Pick a lane and go down it. Let's see how many more Wolf of Wineisms we going to get.
Okay. Glennis, keep tally. I like this. Glennis, keep tally of that.
I got you.
Throw it out tomorrow in succession. Yes. Keep tally of that.
Oh God!
But really quick, before we get into Jermaine's questions, I'm just going to give y'all the Cliff Note version of his background.
Okay, because this podcast is not that long, so we can't do the whole bio.
Okay. All right. So Jermaine Stone, aka Showtime.
Oh,
okay.
Yes. Showtime.
Okay. Showtime.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Born in Harlem, grew up in Bronx. Dreamt of being a rapper. At 19, he appeared on 106 in Park, XM Radio, BET, Hot 97. Okay. But back in the day, he had such a good memory that growing up, people used to pay him to write down lyrics. So he was an ill lyricist, it seems. Okay. Let's move on. So
we'll be the judge of that.
Oh, man. Yo.
So he didn't like the taste of the music business. So he decided to go to college. So he was in college at the same time as his sister and wanted to contribute. So he started working full time at Zachys. Started out in shipments while working and going to college. He moved up in Zachys, client service, auctioneering, logistics coordinator. Then he left in 2013 to become one of the founding members of Wally's Auctions. That's what I have.
You know what's going on.
Because there's more, but pause.
People don't really realize the born in Harlem, raised in the Bronx. That's what I'm like, oh, hold up. Oh, I had to take a step back. That is thorough.
Well, I try.
It's like, is that me? Oh, that sounds good.
Like,
when you say it like
I
that.
know this guy, like
right?
she's describing. But thank you. No, it's so cool to and congratulations, ladies. It's so amazing to see all the growth that you all have had over the years. So it's just I'm glad to see it's good people continuing to do amazing things. And I feel like we all are part of bringing this culture up and showing people a different side of it. So congratulations to you guys on all your growth and over the years also.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The last time you were on the show was 2019. You've had a lot of things going on since then.
All the things. That was before the world ended and then came back.
Right.
Yep. I've been a little busy.
Yeah. So my first question is you're still an auctioneer. Yes. How does that work during the pandemic?
Well, it kind of doesn't, honestly. It sucks. So many of the charities that I was involved with in the past, they just haven't been able to do live events. So there's been tons of other creative ways that they've been able to raise money, but it's tough. The entire world is dealing with a financial crisis. So in that space, it's also tough for people to have more disposable income for things like charity. and they're already dedicating their dollars to so many different charities now. It's so tough. So I think the live event portion of things has definitely taken a hit. Personally, I haven't been out auctioneering since about 2019, but I have done some in-person event stuff, but it's just so many things are now so touch and go. I feel and auctions involve so much planning. I think that it's just a little bit difficult out there. Not to say that they haven't been happening, but just me personally, I've been a little bit more pulled in other directions lately.
Well, tell us about those directions. What have you been doing?
If you can tell us.
So Cru Luv, our company that I founded now is it's a creative agency, and we blend wine and hip hop. We do that through marketing and consulting for different brands. Basically, anyone that wants to involve wine and or hip hop into whatever they're doing, I want to be the person that you call. And, so much of the focus of our business when we last spoke was more consulting for clients and imports and sales. But really, since 2020, I've been mostly focused on a lot of the content side of the business. And honestly, that's so much of where my passion was, because it allowed me to kind of dig back into that bag that you spoke about when I was 19 and creating music and working and just focusing on experimenting with my creative outlets. So I feel like I'm able to do that right now, but just on an adulting level. I'm able to bring new people into the culture in creative ways by just being myself and hoping that I can connect with a variety of different types of people. So that said, with content creation, we have a new show called Tasting Notes from the Streets, where every episode we pair our favorite food from the hood with a different wine from around the world. And so that's really a lot of what we've been leaning into is a lot more, not just audio podcasts, but visual stuff. We also created a visual version for for Wine and Hip Hop TV. I was filming an episode yesterday, so it's like just tattooed in my brain. But we've just dug into more visual content, and we're working with actually a lot of different wine consortiums around the world to help to bridge the culture of wine and hip hop. Wine is it's treated completely different culturally in Europe. And when I was, a kid coming out of the Bronx in the wine industry, getting into wine helped to open my eyes to the rest of the world. So a lot of the focus of my business has been to find ways for people like me to open their eyes to the rest of the world, and for ways for the rest of the world to open their eyes to people like me. And I think that both wine and hip hop do those things. So the short answer for your question is I've been utilizing content and events to find more ways to bridge wine and hip hop culture, not just consulting and sales. But we do a lot, I got my hands in a little bit of everything. You know how us Bronx dudes do.
So you have Wine and Hip Hop. So Wine and Hip Hop is a podcast and TV.
A podcast and a visual show, that you can catch on YouTube. I mean, like Wine and Hip Hop TV is like the podcast on steroids. On the podcast we pair wine and hip hop with our guests. And the visual version is you'll hear like the audio podcast of a lot of these visuals that we release, but we get to tell a deeper story with visuals. We also dig in a little bit more on the wine concepts that we discuss on the podcast by integrating small excerpts with secondary interviews that we may do with wine professionals. I'll give you an example. We had an interview with Tony Rock, and Tony Rock is a big hip hop head. So we found ways to, because, the question is like, why is Tony Rock on wine and hip hop? He's not a wine guy or a hip hop guy, but from knowing him personally, I know before every show that he does backstage, there's a rap cipher happening with him and his boys. And I just so happened to be involved in one of those ciphers one day. So I had some video from that. So we actually had like a little scene with Tony Rock rapping and, digging into why he was a guest that we chose for the podcast. But at the same time, we drank a bottle of 98 Dujac Charm Chambertin with him. So as a guest, we had Jeremy Sace, the winemaker from Dujac, to talk a little bit about that vintage, but we also mixed in cool things like Jeremy's reaction to hearing his wine mentioned by Jay-Z. So it really gives us a chance to expound on all of the details that we brush on in the audio podcast with visuals. And tasting notes from the streets is just fun.
So tasting notes from the street, is that also visual or is that a podcast as well?
Yeah, that's also visual. It's also on YouTube. We pair. It's the mashup of cultures, the true connection of cultures. Like, I like foie gras, but that's not the first thing that I'm gonna reach for if I'm chilling and enjoying in a relaxed setting, enjoying wine. And just there's so many amazing hood delicacies that I would like to see elevated in the same way that other foods are treated. Like I'm Jamaican, so you get the right beef patty and cocoa bread, like that's a Michelin star meal in my book. Exactly. I feel like a contender. If you watch the first episode of Tasting Notes from the Streets, we paired Jamaican beef patties and cocoa bread with Spate Burgunder. So German Pinot Noir, which was a fire pairing. That could go in a Michelin restaurant. I'd be willing to put that apple for apple with whatever you're going to get from Per Se, French Line. It don't matter. Kingston Tropical Bakery on White Plains Road. They got it. They need a star. So, but it's not just that. It's fried. We did fried fish sandwiches and Etna Bianco. We've done chopped cheese, which is like a Harlem version of a Philly cheesesteak with cornas. And we don't just do these shows. We also have ways to integrate our audience with that. So after we show an episode, we actually do an in-person event where people can try the tasting. We have one coming up at City Winery on February 10th in New York City. So we are actually going to have the corner store man preparing chopped cheese sandwiches, and we will have the finest cornas for you to sip on while you try that. Nice. So, and we'll also do the podcast in person or stream it live online. So really, over the last few years have just been finding ways to create more of a community and get more interactive with the people that have been enjoying the content that we've been creating.
I have a question. That's excellent. I have a question. So do you feel that, and I had to write it down because I'm getting old. Do you feel the traditional wine industry is embracing your ideals of bringing our culture, because I'm going to say our culture because it is our culture. I'm owning it. Our culture into the wine industry. Go ahead, sweetie.
Can I get real for a second? Is it okay? Can I get real on Swirl Suite? Is this a safe space?
I mean, there's no other way. So go ahead.
Hey, that's what we're about. That's why I asked the question.
I'm gonna keep it real with you, right? So I create, and that's a great question, by the way. I developed this company because I did feel like the wine industry had the ability to receive this culture in this way. I've definitely spoken about this in the past where my experience in wine has been very positive, where, I was fortunate to work around a lot of progressive, smart people that were interested in my story and wanted to find ways to get into that, to find ways to improve that. And also they just wanted to know because they didn't have the opportunity to mix with people like me. So that said, I always had the feeling that the wine industry could deal with something like this on a larger level. However, and I didn't receive any pushback at any times, and it's just tough to tell. The short answer is it's tough to tell because a lot of the reach outs that I got and the success that we received with wine companies wanting to latch on have been post 2020. You know, and there's been a lot of racial divisiveness and, you know, Black Lives Mattered in 2020, to say the least. Right. Or at least as long as people were throwing up the squares, right? There was like that like 4 months when the United States was on it. Now I don't know where things are. But you know, there was that tight time window when I was sending out a lot of proposals. You know? Nah, but so to you know, to just build on that, like I think that people were put in a place where they had to pay attention. And, you know, we just so happened to create that opportunity that was bridging those gaps that people wanted to bridge. So it's tough for me to tell because we filled a hole that was really exposed during a time. And it was a time when there weren't many people that were specifically doing what we were doing. So it was really easy to stand out. But, you know, for the most part, I'd say, and honestly, but even before 2020, I've been having conversations with the largest chateaus in the world that you can imagine, that have actually reached out to me because they felt like, yo, we like this, we like hip hop. And, you know, so I do think that the wine industry for the most part has received the concept with open arms. Don't get me wrong. There's a ton of people that I speak to that don't get it. There are a ton of people that I'll end up being around that will just deal with me because they have to, but have their preconceived notions about me. You know, right. I see it all the time, and it's funny. You know, it's fun to do that because guess what? We stand in the same place. So how's that? You know, Snooty is working out for you. Like we're still doing the same thing. So, so it's been interesting, but for the most part, I'd say overall well received.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah, I'm proud of the wine industry. You know, I'll also say, you know, when that reckoning hit and so many organizations had to take that hard look at themselves, the wine industry was just like, yeah, all right, we fucked up. Now, what do we do to fix it? You know, right. It was all about fixing it, not just digging into the problem. Like, yes, shit is, I'm sorry, can I curse on here? I didn't even ask. I'm sorry. Shit is fucked up, but at least I'm going to try to do something to fix it. And right. That I'll respect.
Nice.
And you know that I can only speak for me. I received a handful of empty promises.
Oh yeah.
That I got a lot of invitations to a bunch of nothing. And it's just amazing how it is crickets now. Yeah. Just I you know, I'm not going to put anybody's name out there, but like, oh, you made a big old fuss over me. And now it's absolutely nothing. It's yes. Crazy.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's so true. And to your point, 150%, I see the same thing. It's like before, you know, I had to try to keep up. Now I'm actively needing to go out and try to make it happen. But, you know, like I said, I really do enjoy this side of the business because I am able to dig into my thirst and hunger for wine, continue my wine education. You know, I've always said I'm not a som. I am not the guy that will tell you everything you need to know about wine, but I do love wine. And I can tell you everything about what I like and introduce you to whom you need to get connected with to take you to the next
level. I have
level.
A quick question. How do you continue your wine education? Like outside of like certifications, how do you keep learning about wine?
You know, it's actually a very important topic. Tasting. You have to do focused, well thought tasting with a group. It can be formal, it can be informal, but taste lots of wine, think about it, taste it with people that know what they're talking about, you know, increase your vocabulary, because at minimum there you can just approach it from a space of, I'm not learning this thing because I have to, I'm learning this because I want to. And I think with wine, a lot of people feel like they need to know everything. I speak to people all the time and say, oh, I love wine, but I don't know anything about it. You only need to know about what you like, unless this is a profession that you're trying to attach yourself to. And that's a different thing. But otherwise, just focus on what you like.
That's a excellent point. And I wholeheartedly agree. The tastings and the focused tastings, because what that creates is palate to sensory memory.
Exactly.
Because if you have never tasted or have talked about the nuances of different tastes, you'll never be able to recall it because you've never done it. You've never experienced it. So another of your isms. I'm down to 4 now. I helped you with number 4, but number 3 was
that was an us thing. That was an us thing. That's coming from my book. That's dropping next year. That's an ussy.
That's an ussy. I got number 3.
That'll be later to our Twitter account, our joint Twitter account, coming out after this episode.
Number 3, utilizing content and events to bring wine into the culture. I love that.
Yes, because like it's such like how does this apply to my life? Right. I need to see it in my life. I need to see it integrated with my culture. You know, otherwise I'm forever going to be an outsider looking in. Like, no, that's why I like tasting notes from the streets, because that's why it's tasting notes from the streets. Like you're on home court over here, you know? And so at the end of the day, like we need to see it applied to our life the way that we live and currently enjoy it.
I like that you're not waiting for someone to say, okay, I'm going to put this together and say, okay, well, then now they're showing a cultural appreciation. You're saying, hey, I'm going to do this because who could do it better, right?
Right. Exactly.
We've seen something and we're like, there weren't any Black people in that writer's room.
Yeah.
So doing it, and I think to Sarita's point, where there have been a whole lot of empty promises, this is just the time now where we just need to do for ourselves. Because what will happen, what has always happened, is somebody sees it and hopefully they don't steal it. They just build on it.
Exactly. Yeah. For me, I've always been that person where I'm not going to wait, like I'm just going to start building this. And, when people attach themselves to it later, like I looked at, with tasting notes for the streets example, just to kind of give you guys inside look on the way our business works. Like it's branded content that we're creating for different wine regions. So our first episode was with, was in connection with Wines of Germany, but Wines of Germany is trying to communicate a love for German wine. That was their goal with their marketing campaign. All we did was integrate German wine into our lifestyle and showed it to people, and brought it on our turf and within our under our terms. But I think that's what the goal is, and that's what it needs to be about. Because, like you mentioned, you bring it somewhere else, it gets whitewashed. Like I created this company in the way that we did because I knew that the wine, that's why our podcast is called The Original Wine in Hip Hop. Because at that point, I'm like, yo, this thing is coming. And, I know how these dudes work. It's like a lot of our people don't know the business. Long story short, it is about it's branded content. Our intentions for back to the attention versus intentions, our intentions for our content matched the goals of our sponsors. So the messaging is seamless, and that way it doesn't come off like we're advertising something, but ultimately you're getting what the advertisers were hoping to communicate. And I think that's what makes what we're doing so unique, because it is a true, genuine appreciation and understanding for both cultures. And, I know a ton of people in this industry that I love and respect. And there's a ton of people that do things that I can't do. But I can say that what we do in the way that we're doing it, there's no one that could do that. And I'm proud of that, you know.
That's great. Do you think, because you're most of the show is based in the New York Northeast region, do you think you would take it to other areas in the United States? Because, you know, culturally, the South is much different than New York, and show off their culture there, their appreciation with wine.
150%. You know, and I actually try to do that as much as I can. You know, I'll give you an example. We did an episode actually this past year in Atlanta with a young artist by the name of OMB Peasy. Also recently in Chicago with Dave Mays, who's the founder of The Source magazine. But like, we have fans all over the world, and our goal 100% is to continue to spread this message around the world and all over the United States. Because as you mentioned, there are a ton of stories to tell. I think so for Tasting Notes from the Streets, our first season is focused in New York, but you know, yes, the story, it just grows so much when I start to go visit my friends and cousins all around the world and start to do this whole thing in reverse. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That's really cool, because one of my first blog posts in like 2014 was titled Corner Store Vices and Vino. And I did something similar to what you're doing on camera. I think it's awesome.
It's so fun. I love it. It's definitely a big part of what we're doing right now.
So you were listed the 40 under 40 for wine enthusiasts. Congratulations. That's a very big deal.
Thank you. Thank you.
So did things change for you after you were featured in the magazine?
You know, yes, I would absolutely say that. And shout out to wine enthusiasts. That was so humbling. Like, it was definitely a big honor and something that I was really hoping for. And it's just great to be recognized like that. But yes, definitely there have been, you know, companies that have reached out and specifically mentioned that, you know, like, hey, we saw you here and think that what you're doing is cool. So that it really meant a lot to be recognized in that way. And they've just been cool. I like wine enthusiasts because I think they really they push the envelope. I think they're tapped into the wine culture of today. It's not super young, but it's also not very super old. I think they do a really good job. So it was a big honor to be mentioned by them. I'm still trying to get others, man. I'm like, where's I'm like Forbes 40 under 40.
Oh, you'll get there. You'll definitely get there.
I got a couple more years. So you know, when y'all see me go into overdrive, that's why.
So I've scrolled through your Instagram, and you seem to be magical to people. People are really drawn to you. They love partnering with you and doing events with you. Why do you think that is?
That's a great question. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I think that I always try to, well, I look at it this way. As a colleague, I try to make sure that I'm someone that people enjoy to work with. That's something that I've held on from the beginning of my career. Mentoring other employees, I've always said that. Make sure that people enjoy working with you. You know, shout to Don Zachariah. When I, back in, I want to say this was 2005. At the time I was going to leave Zachys, and Don, you know, he sat me down and he was just, you know, he asked about my plans and what I was going to do. And I let him know it wasn't a thing that I didn't have issues working at Zachys, but I wanted to move on and move up and start a career. And I didn't at that time see that there was such a great career for me at Zachys. And Don was just like, yo, look, you know, people like you here, and people aren't going to like you everywhere you go. And it's a big deal to be liked by the people that you work with. So I took that to heart, and I've always tried to make sure that working with me was a positive experience. So at least to the partners that I had, that's always what I try to communicate to them. But overall, I try to be relatable. I try to take the fluff away. And don't get me wrong, it's difficult to not constantly be reevaluating yourself. Everyone deals with like imposter syndrome. I'm not supposed to be here. But I think the most important part of being a creator is finding a way to speak honestly and openly, because people are always going to resonate with that. And I think that that's been why people like to work with me, because it's like, yo, what is this guy doing here? Like, people like this aren't usually in these places. So I try to, just lean into who I am, like hanging out with a dude like Robert Bowes, like one of the most amazing restaurateurs that I've met, but being able to hang out with him in a hoodie and Timbs, I think that's the coolest thing in the world. So I feel like that's like set something that, everyone sees a little bit of themselves in me. And I think that's a big part of why people would want to work with me. Never thought about that out loud, I gotta say. So, it's an interesting question.
Well, okay, number 6, hanging out in hoodies and Timbs.
There you go. There you go.
Important. That's my office wear. Look, this is a day at the office today.
Last serious question. Do you see any wine trends for this upcoming year?
That's a great question. I think that this year it feels like there has definitely been some gimmicky things that have happened. Like I know y'all saw like the Oreo barefoot thing, like we just talked about the salt on the rim thing. There's constantly people, there are people aggressively trying to get new drinkers into the category. I think that's going to continue, but for the most part, I see people, leaning into newer varietals that are less celebrated, talking about new concepts in wines, things that aren't generally celebrated. Everyone's looking for what the new thing is. So I can see a bit more of that happening. Sparkling wine out of England, growing category. I'm not saying that that's going to be what's going to take over 2022, but it shows that people are looking for what the new thing is. I feel like wines from Mount Etna weren't a conversational thing, but I've probably seen like maybe 3 or 4 blogs about it in the last 4 months, So people are now looking for things that have been classic, but exploring their minds a bit more as wine becomes more of a cultural currency, I think.
Leslie, same question for you, since you have a wine club.
I think people are still, at home and aren't going out as much. So I think people are going to try to explore different regions that if they could travel, they would go there and find wine in that area.
Yep, that's a great point.
All right. So here is the fun part of our show. And we're just going to simply do Have You Ever?
Oh,
all
boy.
Right, here we go.
I'm nervous.
Oh, I'm not that bad, y'all.
Okay. This could take a turn. All right, girl, let's go.
This is not After Dark series.
This is not After Dark.
It's always After Dark with Sarita.
Have you ever started a fire?
What now? Can you
like to burn stuff down or like a fire pit?
Right. Like can you
like a fire pit? Or
so
like,
you can take that either way.
I can't believe you said that to me. I'm finna set this on fire.
Oh my God. No, I'm not trying to send you to jail. So
no, the statute of limitations is up. We good. We can get into it.
Oh my God.
Have you ever started a fire? Do you know how to start a fire from like wood? You know how to rub wood together and like start a fire like a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout? Or have you ever accidentally started a fire like in your house? Like, oh my God, it's a fire. I left something on.
I can definitely start a fire. I have started fires, but not accidentally. Well, like,
and that's that on that.
pretend like I know what I'm doing, at least in the woods, camping sort of stuff, but not in an official capacity. Like I was lighting firecrackers as a kid at the abandoned factory across the street, lighting blockbusters and blowing up car seats.
Oops.
Okay.
We edit that out so it doesn't come back to funny.
The statute of limitations is up. He said when he was a kid. No, he good.
This is true.
Yes.
No, never for me.
Yes, I have a fireplace, so I use natural wood. So yeah, I've started a fire, and I've set some shit on fire in the kitchen before. So I've done the intentional and
accidental. Oops.
Oopsie daisy.
Yeah.
I haven't done an accidental fire, but I have started an intentional fire from scratch, and I have to say, it's not all that. The starter logs work just as well.
Exactly.
So myself, I've done both. So the intentional fire, I was a Girl Scout, so we had to learn how to do that. Also, so when I lived by myself, I fell asleep when I think I was boiling something. I think it was just eggs or something. Fell asleep for a long time, apparently. And so it ain't like, it wasn't a fire, but it was real smoky. So it was like a really small fire.
Then it's a fire, girl.
Sometimes the smoke is worse than the fire.
Yeah, the smoke was in my apartment for a while. But yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Second
one. We're not
um,
talking about fires that we start with men, right?
No,
okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh, next question, please.
Have you ever broken a bone?
Nope.
Dang. That's like a bear of mine. Oh, it looks so painful.
Knock on wood. That looks so painful.
Yeah. Neither have I. All right. Next. Have you ever lied to a customer or a follower?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we don't have any more of those because I don't feel like going in the back to get it. We don't have that. We're all out.
Would you say you're the best?
No, I said when they hit you with that, let me speak to the manager. I am the manager. Like that a couple of them. No.
Okay.
Like the buck stops here.
Yeah. No, one time, so back in the day, I used to work at Playland in New York. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that spot, but I used to work at Playland, and there's this newscaster, this guy named Ernie Anastas. Yeah. And mind you, I don't know if you know it, like he was like Channel 11 News or something like that. So do you remember Help Me Howard from that station? So now Help Me Howard was the guy that came if somebody got ripped off or something like that. Now, mind you, I'm about 15 years old working at Playland as the guy like that runs the arcade. I'm a teenager. Ernie played the crane games, the thing that like picks up the stuffed animals. And he felt like it was not working. This man argued with my little 15-year-old self and told me that he was going to call Help Me Out. I'm like, what kind of jerk? So Ernie and Nass, if you listen to this, fuck you, man. Come holler at me, bro.
Them toys like 25 cents. Oh my God, just buy one. Just buy yourself a toy at the store.
On the news, like, I'm a teenager. Why are you arguing with me? It was a real thing. So yes. But that was the day that I was like, yeah, there's nobody to call, buddy. Sorry.
Not one person. No manager. That's it. Good luck.
I've lied a lot to customers about wines that I don't like that I've had to sell. So, yeah. All the time.
That's polite.
I'm not very good at this lying thing, and y'all know it.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that lying thing, and people tell you, if you don't want to know the truth, don't ask her. In front of an audience on this podcast. Yeah. I've learned to, as I've gotten older, to massage the truth a little bit, but it's still the truth. Yeah. I might lie to a bill collector, but not to. So they're not a customer. So no.
Yeah, and I don't engage. Whew, that one. It's not a lie if I don't talk to you. So there's that.
There you have it.
Leslie, did you have an answer? You ever lied to a customer? Oh, she need to drop off. Okay, got you.
Of course she did at that question. Say no, not at all.
Of course not.
Not my customers.
Okay, a little personal one. Have you ever dated someone twice?
I married her.
Oh, same. Same.
I love it.
Married him.
I married.
Yeah.
Interesting thing is, so we were engaged, and then we broke off the wedding.
Oh,
about a month before, separated, had completely different lives for like 3.5 years, and then got back together. Now we have a 3-year-old.
Oh, wow. That's some drama. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's a romantic comedy. I want to see this movie.
I was messy in my 20s. I
okay.
No. Not messy, no, not Stevie J messy.
Oh my God. Who
that's a whole different kind.
That's a whole other category.
Yeah. I used the wrong term. I was young and misguided at that time.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's cold for messy. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
The 21st century term is entanglements.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You ever seen Entangled?
Oh man, he was entangled. Yeah, Sarita. Update your question to the new terminology.
Okay.
You've been experiencing entanglement.
You know what? That can lead to some stories that Anyway. Have you ever ridden in an ambulance?
I have.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I wasn't the sick person, but I have. Yeah.
I was a sick person.
Were you?
Girl, yes. I mean, I wasn't sick. I think I told you this story.
Is this when you fainted?
Yes.
Oh.
And so I had to have somebody translate for me because they were asking me a question. I was like, I don't know what's happening. Somebody help. So luckily there was someone there with me. So she did all the translation. We get to the hospital. They do some tests. I get some fluids. And then they send me home after a few hours. So.
So that was a
fun.
French ambulance.
Yeah.
So you had a twofer. Ambulance and
right. And this was early on. I can handle it now. No, I wasn't. No, I was actually like sick. We were in the pharmacy to give me stuff for a cold. And then I fainted.
Wow.
Ouch.
Yeah, I got any kind of ambulance story you want to hear.
What? What does that even mean?
I've been in some situations.
You've been in some situations.
Okay.
I've gotten sick out before. Definitely have my share of Bronx ambulance stories. Growing up as a young teen in the hood. You'll see your fair share of ambulances. But yes, definitely all types.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been in the ambulance. I don't know if I said this on a podcast, but so I majored in health education at Morgan, and I was an athletic trainer during that time. It was like sort of a minor, but anyway, we had to work. I was on like the football staff. So I was on the sidelines, and this guy, he had I think it was a concussion, and one of us had to go. So, we had to go in the ambulance. That's my story. It's not as colorful.
It is.
Okay. Have you ever changed a tire?
Hell no. That's what AAA is for. Pay that subscription yearly. No.
Yeah, it's a no for me, dog.
It's a no for me too. I just know that like some parents, require their kids to know how to change a tire, especially girls.
Yeah. Well, my mother was like, "Here's your AAA. Don't go."
I grew up with a mom. Do you have money to get home?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Make sure you know where you are
at all times.
Yeah.
Always have some money in your pocketbook.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get stranded.
There you go.
Jermaine, I'm just assuming you know how to change a tire.
Oh yes, there's plenty. Which one of those type of stories you want to hit? Kids without the kids.
Oh, got you.
In state, out of state. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your stories.
Those situations. Look, you got to earn that big piece of chicken, somehow. So,
write that down, Glennis. Write that down.
So I gotta make sure I at least let it be known,
Yeah.
The thing is, like, if you with your guy and he like the one calling AAA to change your tires, you gotta at least attempt.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, we gonna judge you a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Unless you in a tuxedo, like you literally have no excuse to not even try.
Exactly.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But see, that's when we would step in. Oh, I can't.
If we figured out a way to do it with the tuxedo, y'all would have been completely impressed,
Oh, for sure.
It's true.
That's the school that. So I try to live that as much as possible.
But see, that's when we should step in like, oh, sweetie, don't mess up that tux, don't mess up them Tims. Let me just call AAA and we can all just be over here. Wait. Mm-hmm. Let's go get a drink over here while AAA comes. It's gonna take them 45 minutes. So let's go.
And I'm gonna give all my husbands listening some free game. When your wife does that, that's when you ask twice. You sure? With like an attempt to get up, you sure? Just do that.
You do gotta act like you getting up. Don't just be like, all right, babe, you got it. Okay, great. No attempt.
Empty gesture, because when they, oh yeah, you know what? Go ahead. You be extra dead inside, like, damn. Why did I ask that second time?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, next one. A little personal. Said I love you and didn't mean it.
Yep. That was easy. So maybe I was
never the one.
Yep.
Maybe that's a twofer. That's the lie. And so that's a twofer. Okay, so I did lie. Yep. Yeah.
We all have those teenage years, I think to like 24, there was much worse people to date than me, but I wasn't the best date. It was cool. I was a nice guy, but I don't know. I've definitely apologized several times to basically every woman that I've dated in that.
And let me guess, do you have a daughter?
I do.
Oh, that's why.
But the daughter, apologize way before the daughter. I will say that.
No, but the theory that if men are trash in their 20s, then they end up having the daughter.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. My son is 15. I have my son first, and my daughter's 3. And I'm not gonna lie, when I did find out that he was a boy, that my first child was a boy, like the it was straight Tiger Woods. Yes. When I found out, because it was that, I'm like, okay, I wasn't that bad. Like that was the first. I wasn't that bad. First one's a boy. That was exactly what I said to myself.
See, Jesus Christ got jokes. Him and God. They be saying, oh, you thought you got away, right?
Like, boom.
Here you go.
Yeah. She is like handful. I know I got a rough life ahead of me.
At least you had fun making her.
Well.
And good night, everybody.
And our last question. Have you ever spilled wine on anyone?
Oh, gosh.
Have I?
Now, are we gonna are you including like if we're pouring for an event and you know how people start getting tasty and you have to be like stop moving the glass and then they run in their mouth?
No. Have you spilled wine on someone's clothes on them?
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
No.
Hopefully I will not manifest that after this. But I have not ever done that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
No.
Have I've done it, but luckily it was white. It was a white wine and not a red one. So I didn't. I mean, I worked at a winery. It's like bound to happen. And like
when you said white, I was going a different way with that. So thank you for coming with the wine.
No, it was a white wine. Yeah.
Okay.
No, was the person white? I think the person was white. So that's actually accurate. But it was a white wine. The glass tipped over, but everybody was okay. I was so happy it wasn't red.
Yeah, I spilled wine on myself because I missed my sip a couple times. Like, damn it.
Yeah.
We don't even count those anymore.
No.
I definitely think about what I'm wearing based on what I'm drinking. I do.
Sure.
Yes.
Yep. Sure. Exactly. You learn that early on in this wine industry.
Yeah.
Because if you're wearing something light, you get home, you're like, now I didn't spill nothing, but why are these little red dots all over me?
Yes.
When did I was being so careful? There's like a red dot on your shoulder. Like,
it's like, what is that from?
Yep. Well, Jermaine, before we log off, where can everybody follow you?
You know what? The best thing to do is Google search wine and hip hop, and I will always be around. I'm like Candy. Say my name 3 times,
Oh my God.
Number 8, say my name 3 times.
The best place to follow me is go to wineandhiphop.com. Very easy to remember, or go to Instagram at Wine and Hip Hop Show or Real Wolf Wine. I'm not too far, but yeah, man, worst case, just Google search Wine and Hip Hop. Say Wine and Hip Hop, click your heels 3 times, and I'll pay the attempts.
So how do we also your sweatshirt is on point. I'm loving it. I want one. So
Thank
how do
you.
I get that?
But I need y'all to just send me the address to ship them to and sizes, because Wine and Hip Hop swag is going to be en route very fast. Like, we like to spread love around here.
So you're pretty big time. So do we send these addresses to your communication specialist that I heard from, or can we talk directly to you?
Yeah, right. I think we got it in. I'm just gonna answer for him. The new Wolf and Wineism. Yes, send to me. Click click your heels now.
But yeah, you can email them to myself or my colleague, who is amazing, and 100. Like, I would be nothing without her. I will tell you that much. Like,
okay,
I put together person.
Quick question. Look at me. I'm right back to the sweatshirt. So are they unisex, or you have women's sizes? Or I want to get my right size.
They do run big. They do run big.
Okay.
One size smaller than you usually wear.
Okay.
But it's also like a nice, throw on, have on around the house sort of thing. It grows with you. It lives with you. So
I love it.
I'm a travel in that. Yo, what?
Look, on the street, I was walking in my building earlier today. Some guy like winded the window on his car down. Like, yo, I like that sweatshirt, man. So
yeah, that's
hot.
That's hot.
And another thing, Jermaine, before you go, you mentioned your website or where we can find. Do you have any events or anything coming up where people can support you?
Yeah, thank you so much. So February 10th, we are going to be hosting our Tasting Notes from the Streets event at City Winery in New York. It's the new City Winery. They totally redid it by Chelsea Pears. But it's an amazing episode. If you go to our YouTube right now, you'll see our most recent episode of Tasting Notes from the Streets, where we paired chopped cheese and Cornas, which is Syrah from Northern Rhone. And, this event is going to be really special. I feel like we get better every single time. This one, we actually are, and we always bring authenticity. For example, our first event, we brought the beef patties and cocoa bread that I had from the restaurant that we had them from in the Bronx. We brought that to the event. And, in this instance, we actually going to bring the dude from the corner store to City Winery to come and make the chopped cheeses. So if you really, truly want to experience authenticity in both cultures, we try to provide that. We're also going to have a few different expressions of Syrah. So we'll have some Australian Shiraz, which is, the exact same thing, just, out of the ocean. And it's going to be really special. I'm looking forward to it. But February 10th, I hope to see you all there.
So which borough is City Winery in? Because you said New York is a large state.
It's in Manhattan. And I'm sorry. But yes, I'll be appearing at the Food and Wine Festival in Charleston in March.
Okay.
So definitely check me out there as well. I think it's sold out, but I'm going to be in Charleston acting bad. So y'all hang out with me.
This was fantastic. I'm glad that we could start off 2022 with you. And we wish you much success this year.
Thank you so much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Fun. I always have fun chopping it up with y'all. This is great, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining the Swell Suite podcast today, guys. We hope you enjoyed our first episode of 2022. And guess what? Now you can leave us a 5-star rating on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and leave us a rating. Cheers.